So I've been using a television from LG, the LG Qned Mini LED, and it's 75 inches. 75 inches. I know that is kind of mental when you think about it, especially that kind of size and just having it this close, because I do live at a smaller place, but especially if you then have a 75-inch television, it is kind of huge. It almost looks like a wall, and people that walk in here are like, wow, I thought it was a part of your wall. It is not. And what I really like about it, apart from of course being large, which is really nice when you of course play games and so on and watch movies, it's also just the design of itself. Yes, I do think that the LG 48C1 has a better stand overall and it looks really nice, but this one has really minimal bezels, just like of course my LG 48C1, but of course that isn't as large as this one. But when it comes to it, it just feels like if I do have it on or if I have it off, it just somewhat fuses with the background, and that makes it really nice, especially if you have a TV of this kind of size. And yes, LG sent this over, by the way, if you do want to know. But with that being said, I'm not paid for my opinion. I just enjoy televisions, I just enjoy watching movies, and yeah, when I have something like this, it's definitely great to have overall. But let's continue about my experience using it for, I think it's almost half a year, maybe a year already. Time really goes fast, I don't even remember anymore. Anyway, it's been a while since I had this television, and I just still love it. So let's just jump into the video and talk about my experience so far, especially since I got the PlayStation 5, which is a really lovely addition to have. Of course, with a television that supports 4K 120Hz, it's really nice because those games just look so much better in 4K resolution. It's just so nice to have. And of course, I do want to thank Geeky Stuff for, of course, allowing me to win the PlayStation 5. It is because of him that I have the PlayStation 5 and that I can test the PlayStation 5 on a television like this. So again, thank you very much for that. And of course, links in the description for his YouTube channel, but also his website, where of course, if you do want written reviews and so on, you can check that out in the link of the description. Anyway, let's just continue with my experience of this beautiful television, the LG Qned Mini LED, 75 inches, and talk about my experience. So to begin with, as stated, 75 inches is huge, but of course that's all nice and dandy. If the television doesn't work like it should, and if it doesn't look good in terms of image, then it really doesn't matter if you do get a 75-inch television or a 45-inch or whatever. So what is the display like? Well, the display is stunning. It's a really good display. But I will have to say that there is of course a little bit of a light bleed. So if you have something that is black and then of course you have white text, you will see a little bit of that white fade behind it. It's not ideal, but it still looks good overall. It's just something that I noticed. In some cases it's a little bit more than I would like it to be, but overall the display is beautiful and I really do like playing games on this, watching my movies and so on. It's just amazing to have something like this, especially 75 inches in a place like this. I sit quite close, and at the beginning I definitely was, together with my brother of course, we were responding like, holy shit, that's large. But now we're completely used to it, so it really doesn't make a difference anymore for us. Either way, it's a stunning display. And of course, LG keeps giving us updates to the TV itself, which definitely helps with the performance of the television. Of course, keeping your apps up to date. The one thing that I also have to say is, in terms of use of course, the LG Qned Mini LED, is that you have this special remote. Now, I say special, but most LG TVs have this. It's basically that it has a function where it also functions as a mouse, which is actually quite handy, especially if you want to type out stuff instead of course using the mic itself. Instead of say search up whatever movie you want to watch, you can simply press of course this as well and then just say look for Titanic, look for Harry Potter or something like that. It will actually look for that in several apps and of course also YouTube. So if it's on Netflix or if it's on Disney Plus and so on, it will find that straight away and you can just click on it. So really nice to have in terms of features on the television. But if you don't want to use of course the mic, simply swipe this down once, just like that, and you will actually have a possibility to use this as a mouse. It makes typing quite easy, especially if you have a longer title. It definitely helps out with searching for the movies, series, or whatever you are looking for. Now, of course, the rest of the TV. Let's talk about, for instance, the ports that I have. I have 2 ports that are really important, especially if you do want to play, of course, your games on it, like for instance with your PlayStation 5 or of course your Xbox. It's the HDMI 2.1. I have 2 ports of those, and simply put, it definitely allows for a better quality in terms of just the image that you get for it. Even with games like Rocket League, you can already tell a huge difference in terms of how the game looks, but also the text itself. It's much sharper, much clearer, and it's definitely noticeable compared to something where, for instance, if I use my DVD player that I have and then use it for, of course, my PlayStation 5 connecting via data and then connecting to the TV itself, I can definitely tell that the quality is much slower compared to, of course, the 4K HDMI 2.1 with 120 Hz refresh rate. So when it comes to that, definitely benefits from it as well. When it comes to movie settings, for instance, I definitely like the option there as well, especially if it comes to, of course, the picture mode. The picture mode allows you to select different modes, and that allows you, for instance, to have it more adjusted towards gaming or towards a movie and so on. This definitely helps in terms of use. Now, this also counts for instance, sound. You have different sound modes. For instance, AI sound. You also have a mode where audio for voice is clearer. So it just uses different pitches and different levels to make, for instance, the voice clearer, because of course that's a different pitch than something where bass lies. If you have a lot of bass and that bass is heavy, it can get harder to, of course, hear the voice itself. Therefore, you need in several movies that you want, for instance, the voice to be clearer and the bass a little bit less. This makes it easier to watch and follow, of course, your movie itself when the audio quality is good. Talking about audio quality in general, I would have to say that the audio quality is great again for a television itself. Of course, it's not going to compete with my surround set, but overall, in terms for TV audio, it definitely is really good, and it's much better than, for instance, the Samsung TV that I had before this, before I had the LG 48C1. The audio quality definitely couldn't compete with something that LG has been making, and I think the speakers on this is excellent for a television. Just don't compare it with, of course, a soundbar or, for instance, your surround set or whatever you use in your own life. If you have that, yeah, definitely use that. But for if you just have a television and you just have that without a soundbar or without, of course, a home cinema set, yeah, audio quality is excellent, and that's something that they should be proud of. Now, the one thing that I will have to say that could be a bit better when it comes to the quality itself of the television is having a faster CPU. Sometimes you just notice that it isn't the fastest out there, and I know that the focus is basically on having a great image quality, and honestly, I prefer that over having the fastest CPU inside of a television. It's not as important, but it would be nicer to have that fast CPU inside so it goes to everything quickly. So that's a little bit of a bottleneck, but not really a problem just for myself in terms of my own experience with, of course, the LG Qned Mini LED TV. At the end, my months of experience with this television has been great, and I think they've done a great job when it comes to, of course, what LG has produced here. I love the television, I love the quality that I get out of it, I love watching movies on it, and I love playing games on it. It's excellent. And I think this is one of my favorite techs that I have this year. And also last year, because I got it last year. So yeah, it's been a while. But either way, when it comes to, of course, using the LG Qned Mini LED TV, yeah, it's one of my favorite tech products that I've been using for a while now, and definitely excites me to use this. And I'm really thankful that I had that opportunity from LG, that they sent it over. But again, my opinion is my own. They didn't buy my opinion, so don't worry about that. I just think it's an excellent television, and I wanted to update those people who saw the first video of course, my LG Qned Mini LED review. This is more of a look back and see how it performs now, what I think of it now, especially since I'm used to, of course, this huge size, which, by the way, if I wanted, I could have picked the 85 inches. And yes, that is really nice to have, but honestly, it wouldn't fit. It wouldn't fit. It just doesn't have the space for it, but it's still, you know, this is the max that I can reach for myself in this space, but it's just lovely to have. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to do the liking and commenting and all that stuff, and of course subscribing with the bell icon. Either way, let me know if you have any questions about my LG Qned Mini LED TV and what you want to know about it, and of course yeah, what your favorite TV is and what do you have currently. Either way, have a good one, and talk to you guys in the next.